Welcome back, everyone, to your NRE the Wrestleverse Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Brown, and we have more updates going on with AEW Collision, Mercedes Moné's future in wrestling, and especially Kota Ibushi and whether or not he's coming to AEW, which will be awesome because that's the case. So we're going to naturally start things off with none of those things. No, instead, we're starting off with the competitor that goes ahead and destroys everything you enjoy in wrestling, Bruce Pritchard. So anyways, Bruce Pritchard decided to shock the world by coming out by saying that Beer Money Incorporated, the tag team that consisted of James Storm and Robert Roode, or Bobby Roode as he was also known as, they never got a shot together in WWE since, they were tag team champions in Impact Wrestling 5 times, and regarded as one of the best. He believed on his podcast saying this about the success they would have been. I think they could have. I really do. I think they definitely could have. I think that James is another one that is an extremely talented guy. He's got the gift of gab, but he was either afraid of success or just couldn't go on to that next thing. He really liked where he was in the pecking order that he was in. Bobby Roode, he had a major success after James Storm and him broke up. He won the world title, turned heel, held it for a long period of time, and, hijinks ensued from that. He then changed his name and went and, did a whole bunch of stuff in Impact back when they were in the TNA days, and this was after the Immortal storyline ended, because that was an immense torturous period for Impact Wrestling. Thanks, Hogan. But they would eventually be joining WWE. Bobby Roode, later Robert Roode, came in, joined WWE in 2016, and he was NXT champion. Did pretty well on that. Lost to Drew McIntyre in the end. He became U.S. champion, tag team champion. However, those two reigns were pretty damn forgettable for me. His NXT, and this was during the whole contrasting difference between WWE's Vince McMahon back show and Bobby Roode on the NXT brand, which was a Triple H produced show, and we all know the history of that particular era. But along with that, it was also James Storm. He showed up in NXT back in 2015, did a couple of matches here and there. They even had a plan to bring him into the main roster. Apparently that iconic song AJ Styles uses was actually designed for him. Yeah. Meanwhile, Robert Roode is currently recovering from neck fusion surgery and is not expected to be around for a while. Best of luck, man. I had not been watching WWE all that much, so I didn't know he was gone for that while. I even realized AJ Styles was missing, and I was like, oh, he's injured? Gotcha. Everyone's getting injured these days. Meanwhile, amid the whole Punk coming back and the AEW division going on, Dave Meltzer, take it for what you will, reported in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that the Elite and Blackpool Combat Club will be the top attractions on Dynamite from June 17th. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks have been in a program with the BCC for over a month, and having been incorporated to the issues of the Blackpool Combat Club, already had Root Hangman. Many expectations to eventually reunite ahead of a series of matches with the group. The Elite and Blackpool Combat Club are already top attractions on Dynamite, but they will very much be the pillars of the Wednesday night show after all the wrestling debates. Their third planned through TV show, Collision, on Saturday, June 17th. CM Punk is scheduled to make his AEW return at the taping of the United Center, and he will be the star of the new series. They aren't currently expected to have a presence on the show, but as AEW are currently reportedly planning to do a brand split, reportedly so people who don't want to be in the same building as CM Punk can stay away from the 44-year-old veteran. And I'm just like, okay, if you wanted to showcase more talent, that would have been fine. If that was your reasoning, if you wanted to dispel the tensions in the locker room, but because it's just this one guy, we gotta split the roster, damn it. Oh, man. I just find that whole perception insane that they would do that, because it's just... It just bugs me that they did that. It just really bugs me. And at the same time, it's like, I get why people don't want Punk back, but I also get that Punk is a big deal for AEW still a little bit. But there's also all the other concerns they have. I want everyone to just work it out. They don't need to be friends. They can just be associates with each other in the same company. Like, how many enemies did Punk have in WWE for a long time? And he was able to work with them until he couldn't anymore, until broken promise after broken promise after broken promise after broken promise happened. And, well, history has been made since, and we're still stuck with that. But, the whole idea that Punk isn't a draw, like, there were talks about how they should just let him go. There's the whole talk about, just release him, take the money loss, and call it up a learning experience. Eric Bischoff said that. And people were saying that Punk has no value. And then Collision was being reported, and people then heard reports allegedly saying this is not confirmed yet, though if it is confirmed, it will just basically silence the whole he's not a draw reasoning by reportedly stating that Collision, which is set to debut on TNT reportedly, will, well, they got $50 million out of it, apparently. Yeah. I am not kidding. That was the report. Apparently it was reported that AEW, just because Punk managed to be around, secured them not only a third TV deal on Warner Bros. Discovery programming, but they got $50 million freaking dollars out of it. And I'm just that guy that's standing over here is like, ha! So, that's been thrown out the window. Like, that's a lot of money, and I'm pretty sure Tony Khan's like, I think we just made our money back for the video game, so, whoopee! And the game hasn't even come out yet due to GCW's nonsense. Also, there was a planned event for Blood Money, aka WWE King and Queen of the Ring, and then it wasn't. It will instead be replaced by Night of Champions May 27th, which means Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are no doubt going to lose their tag titles before that, which means we wasted your year, a whole year of your life. In a storyline that will not even have a satisfactory conclusion because they have dignity and honor. Screw you, WWE. Well, because of this change in the status quo, Night of Champions became the new night for May 27th, Saudi Arabia, and reports indicate that they made the big change in what was simply a creative decision, as the organization believed Night of Champion will mean something in Saudi Arabia. I mean, like, there are 100 different reasons you can make it matter, like put effort into the content, give good storylines, do anything and then blood money deals. But there was another speculation about this that would have actually made more sense. You see, May 27th is also the date when Roman Reigns will reach 1,000 days as the WWE Universal Champion if he doesn't lose it yet. Yeah, because King and Queen of the Ring was apparently not good enough for Roman. He could have just taken the King role and, you know, you could build up something from that, but like, nah. But the question now remains is who's Roman going to fight at Blood Money round 10? Like, Bobby Lashley maybe? Seth Rollins? Some people put out the theory that they could probably build Omos, which would suck, because Omos is set to fight Seth Rollins right the hell out of nowhere. Yeah, that's the thing that's happening at Backlash. What happened, man? Meanwhile, WWE has plans that they will debut more talent for the upcoming draft that's coming up. But NXT executive tipped up like Braun Breaker, Cameron Grimes, Tyler Bate is under consideration. With Dolph Ziggler, after his match with Dolph Ziggler on the main event, received a lot of praise. Yeah, that was reportedly that was reported, and I was like, oh god, main event actually did a good match in a long while. That's sad for the main shows. And meanwhile, there was also consideration that Matt Cardona could come in, but he's still doing his stuff on the independents and about to fight Will Ospreay soon. So, yeah. Meanwhile, AEW's big debut for the United Kingdom. Let's just say this, it is both good and bad. Good because AEW has done pretty damn well for its pre-sale sign-up for All In, reaching over 50,000 pre-sale sign-ups. So, there is a report that there's also there's a rumor going on that the ticket price will be between 30 to 500 British pounds for All In. And I had to do some calculations on my phone and on Google that apparently that would equal to 30 to 600 bucks. Now, this is not true counting travel expenses. That actually could be the determinant factor. But yeah, they're now likely sitting up to 55,000 signups for the pre-sale in the UK. And I was just like, okay, so can the WWE travelers shut up and provide actual good evidence to explain why this wouldn't work? I mean, like, I had one person who isn't a tribalist come to me and explain why they feel like there's concerns because, well, the cost of living crisis, the government's inept behavior with everybody, the current economic struggles, and the fact that traveling expenses might be the detriment to All In. So at least this guy came up with reasons instead of just say, I hate AEW, they need to burn because I hate them. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, man. So, Shawn Spears, he disappeared in October, and yeah, Shawn Spears of AEW. He showed up, returned, lost to Jungle Boy, Jack Perry on Rampage, and he disappeared, and it was revealed that Tony Khan gave him his leave of absence for a while because, you know, he has a kid. But, you know, everyone didn't know that, so demanding more people's personal life. So, yeah. He spoke to Chris Van Valiant on Insight saying, I don't want to do it much longer. Not because I'm being forced out of it or anything. Health-wise, I'm in very good shape. And he has one last major goal to accomplish, and he was inspired by the late Brody Lee, because almost everyone in AEW is either inspired by Bret Hart or the great late Brody Lee, who should have been so much more had his health not deteriorated in the tragic way it did, and not in the conspiracy rhetoric nonsense. I feel like I've done a lot. I think I'm pretty level-headed, but I like to win a championship. I like to win a championship in a major company, and the reason being is one of my favorite photos ever is John Huber, Brody Lee. I think it was the second time as TNT champion. He has a photo where he's holding the title and he has his two sons with him. They are just so happy. They're like, you know, kids are so proud of their parents, but the look on their face, to me anyway, is almost like he knew it. He felt that he knows what this moment means to them and to him. I'm not jealous of any other man or human being on this planet. I'm very happy with who I am. What you see is what you get. I'm very good, but I'm jealous of that photo because he has that beautiful moment with his son, and that's going to live forever in that photo. It's going to live forever with me. I want that same kind of thing for me and my son. I want the moment, and it would be kind of nice little period at the end of a 20-plus year career. Well, since the TNT title, well, he also did say he wants a match also with MJF, but, like, that's probably going to be a Dynamite episode. You know, just resolve the storyline with him and Ward. Like, they'll probably have MJF versus Wardlow down the road, and, you know, MJF's going to fight Shawn Spears and beat the hell out of him. But Shawn Spears could more than likely win the TNT title. I'm like, it is playing hot potato these days, ever since Cody got sick, and then they had to bring in the interim stuff. And then it's never recovered since. So, yeah, we'll see on that. God. Props to Shawn Spears for his long career, and I really am hoping he can go out on a high note. So, while that was all going on, more NXT superstars were pitched for a call-up, like reportedly Dragunov has been someone pitched to join the SmackDown brand, specifically given his long feud rival with Walter, aka Gunther, currently sitting on the Blue Show. Additionally, other names like Zoe Stark, Cameron Grimes, Pretty Deadly were brought up. Grimes has been seen for quite some time in NXT. Stark has been getting some shots on the likes of the main event, even made a cameo in the Royal Rumble, and Pretty Deadly has supposedly been turning heads with impressive performances and the charisma. Braun Breaker, however, they apparently decided to delay his ascension because he turned heel on NXT. But Dragunov joining SmackDown would be pretty awesome if we get a rerun with Walter and Dragunov. And let's just hope they don't have politics going ahead and ruin his career like it almost did reportedly. Okay, so there was this thing, unverified, I must stress, there were unverified claims about this. But apparently there was unverified statements going around on the Twitter time sphere that they were going to strip Dragunov of the NXT UK Championship because of what was going on during the last year for now. Because even though he's publicly come out and denounced what's going on in that particular event, along with legit Layla Hirsch denouncing that particular event, they have been subjected to the sins of the nation will fall onto the people, even if they don't support it and hate it with a fiery passion. Because that's how you solve war. By blaming it for someone who are beyond control of it. That's how the cycle of abuse, right? The cycle of violence continues, right? Yeah. So yeah, when that was an actual thing spreading around that Dragunov could be stripped of the NXT UK title, not because he's hurt or anything, but because of his nationality, I was like, okay, then you have to give us a massive apology for what happened with Rusev and Lana, and that whole storyline you did with him, involving that certain person of history that will now look at him very badly, more than ever. Let's see, how you reference real world stuff without actually saying it, but you kind of did mention it. Event that happened back in 2015. Oh god, that was the thing. Oh god. And yeah, and I would like to keep reminding people of this, and I will not stop until the day I die. You try to make an Austrian wrestler a Nazi U-boat commander, Gunther Stark. Now you want to play the high ground, and it's the wrong high ground. But enough about my vicious rants on Volta and how he was renamed for stupid reasons. Ray Phoenix. Yeah, remember how he's been known as the wrestler with rubber for bones? Yeah, I'm still on that opinion that that surgeon in AEW and in the wrestling world is secretly converting wrestlers' bones to rubber to justify all the insane rubbery bounce moves they do. I mean, like, I'm still amazed by that. But Ray Phoenix is like, okay, look, Tony, I'm kind of banged up. I want to take some time off. Okay. So, yeah. And he's the current ROH World Champion, Tag Team Champion, so he's taking some time off to recover from that, especially since there wouldn't be much pressure since ROH operates a lot differently than the AEW brand. So they can afford taking a little bit of time off. Let's just hope it's not too bad and things work out in the end. Also, Adam Cole decided to talk about All In. Are you all in? This is Gray. This is Ray. This is War. I'm all in. And everything. Adam Cole spoke about All In on Good Karma Wrestling, saying this. What's exciting for me is that there are so many guys that want to step into the ring with at AEW that haven't had the chance to wrestle yet. And when I think of all these different possible matches like a Sammy Guevara or a Darby Allin or even a Jungle Boy again or something like Jay Whitehall. Okay, I added the Whitehall part, but Jay White was listed. Something like Kenny Omega or maybe even something like MJF for the AEW World Championship. I don't know. There are a lot of different possibilities. At least by know whether I'm involved at Webley. I want it to be special, and my God, I cannot wait for this show. So Kenny Omega might be out of the idea. Well, we all hear the talk about, oh, it could be Punk he fights at All In. It could be Ospreay he fights at All In. No. You see, report because back in New Japan, someone decided to call out a certain wrestler indirectly by referencing Omega's famous goodbye and good night bang by saying it, and they're now teasing that Okada might be fighting Omega at All In because we needed to have everyone in wrestling lose their collective shits. I'm hyped. Meanwhile, LA Knight, he wants to be Universal Champion sooner rather than later, and I'm just like, okay, man, you're not going to get that anytime soon. Like, Roman will probably lose that title in 2024, but if The Rock comes back, then give it 2025, and you might have a shot. Maybe. Unless they want to beat Bruno Sammartino, then you have to wait till near the end of the decade. The fact that that's an option now is scary. Not only are they looking for me to become world champion sometime soon, but I'm looking to become the WWE Universal Champion sooner than later. Dream matches. You think about people from the past who aren't doing it anymore. There are a couple of those. Yeah. Everyone's talking about it again. The Undisputed Universal Champion. That makes me look at Roman Reigns. Even Gunther with the Intercontinental Championship. Austin Theory for the U.S. Championship. Any of those guys who I could take a piece of gold off of. That would be my dream match. Yeah! And all that. Considering he's rebounded after he lost to Bray Wyatt, I think that kind of destroys the whole narrative that people were trying to push, but okay. Like, he had a bit of a quiet period, but then he's recovered since. So, there was been an update in the Punk department. Apparently, a lot of people in the back are reportedly for Wade Keller at PW Torch, who I no longer trust as a complete verified source because he never. There was the whole. Okay, how do I explain this delicately? The Brody Lee fiasco that his site published an article. He wasn't the publisher, he was the head editor. And then he came out and admitted that, yes, I did not look at the thing before publishing it, which makes me go ahead and scream into the void, wondering what the hell, man. And I'm pretty sure this has been hanged up on him for the rest of his career. Anyway, so among the people that have talked to, according to Wade Keller, there's not a high level of confidence that the meeting is going to go well and that it could make things worse. But maybe not. Maybe things will work out. But people who have been around Punk know people who have been known Punk for a long time, are not optimistic that FTR mediating a meeting between Jericho and the Punk is going to lead to progress. The other thing is that it's just that it sounds by every indication, the Bucks, Matt and Nick's, Jackson's heels are dug in, and I think Brandon Cutler's comments add to it. Yeah, thanks a lot, and I just to see those parties reconciling. Okay, so what about Kenny Omega? He's mellowed out. You could do that match at All In and make money. Like, come on, that's the only match that I'm pretty sure would make sense. So, speaking of that, other people coming in, there's been now the idea being thrown out there that Goldberg will go all elite. For God's sakes. And Wardlow decided to tease it because of course he did. So apparently Dave Meltzer decided to reveal his bank account regarding Goldberg's paycheck he got from just the Saudi shows alone. he reportedly made $2 million for each of his Saudi Arabian matches. And for AEW, that kind of money per match simply isn't cost effective. Look, I know Tony Khan and his father are loaded in the bank, but come on, Goldberg's not worth it, man. If you get one match out of him, which would be a miracle, he has to lose. That's the only way. And the only people I can see that he could lose to are Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs. Let's see. Maybe Dax Hardwood, since he's the most wrestler of the most active singles competitor of FTR. Though Wardlow would probably be a damn good option, since they could build him up for a world title match against MJF and revisit that feud. So, maybe. But people have been also pitching Darby Allin, like, mostly because they want to see the brutality that would come when being speared by Goldberg. And knowing that this is Darby Allin, he'll probably pitch for that. Like, come on, I want to be speared to oblivion. Meanwhile, Saraya, who got in trouble recently, got fined for a little warning saying twat. She's hoping that the crowd chants twat, 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 and whatnot, just so she can't get in trouble for it. Saying, well, it's them, not me. Blame them, not me. And I'm like, but Bailey, but Saraya, you just encouraged it on the internet months in advance, so clearly they're gonna find a way to blame you. And as we talk about that, William Regal had to come up and talk about his departure from AEW, even though he and Tony Khan have come out about it. So he had to come out and say this because people would love to start spreading lies in order to push a narrative that AEW is the worst thing that happened since Kane made him the first murderer. They'll probably go that far. So he had to come on and say, just so anyone who wants to know the truth, I know Tony summed it up a few conversations we had with quick answer. FYI, Tony called me at 9 p.m. on Sunday night, and I discussed my reasons for leaving, where time spent where I want to be then, and I only then did he tell me where he was and what problems he was having. I told him to get off the phone and take care of his family, and he shouldn't be talking to me now. I also realized he has summed up conversations with brief answers. We eventually talked about me leaving 2 weeks later in Jacksonville. Time and time spent was the reasons for my leaving, no agenda or anything else. I have lived through this some serious times in 2018 and 19, and realized time is all I have. I had a great time in AEW and are thankful for the time I spent there with many of my close friends and amazing crew. I just want to make that public so people stop misinterpreting it. It's sad that people in our job can't realize that you can be a decent human being without having an agenda or taking advantage. This is the last time I will mention this. Again, I would like to thank AEW for the gracious acceptance of me and for Tony to take me on board. And just so you know, there's a few spelling mistakes in my last tweets, but I spent too much time at school daydreaming of being a pro wrestler. AEW were very kind to me and I enjoyed my time there. I mean, most of the time there, and never double-crossed anyone. And I'm just like, Regal, everyone knew that. The only people that refused to, like, it's not a matter of them believing it or not. It's a matter of tribalism is going to tribalist. So, either way, it's not going to work out in terms of tribalists. They're going to keep just spreading the rhetoric of, I hate AEW. And because AEW is the worst thing to happen since insert ism here. So, that happened. So, remember Trinity Fatu? She disappeared after a while. Apparently, they were going to offer her a deal in New Japan Pro Wrestling Stardom, but then the company that owns both promotions had to come out and say, "Look, we already spent a lot with Mercedes Moné, yeah, as much as we would want to get Naomi here, we can't afford her at the moment, so can you be a little bit cautious about this?" Yeah, they passed on the opportunity due to being her too expensive of a signing after walking out and all that. But, yeah. There was, she was also spotted at the Supercard of Honor event and whatnot, but, she was reportedly backstage at GCW. Supposedly, at the recent Scene of the Crime event, saying that, to see if she was visiting or if there would be more of her presence moving forward, but weren't given any clarification according to Fightful Select. So, yeah, she probably won't be joining Stardom in New Japan anytime soon. The only way she'll do that is if, AEW goes ahead and signs her and they give her a clause to go to New Japan to hang out with Mercedes, Moné, and that would be awesome, but still. But we'll see where Trinity goes from here on out. I'm hoping for the best for her, honestly. And once again, we have the anti-Mercedes Moné, but pro-Sasha Banks because WWE property or something like that mentality. Tribalists were going ahead and saying, so you're saying that Trinity shouldn't follow Mercedes, the traitor? Oh yes, let's go ahead and WWE Tribalist this, and all that. So, yeah. Oh, and apparently, even though Trish Stratus took out Lita, Lita is apparently done for now. And they have no plans for her in WWE, though I would think she would come back because, Trish Stratus kicked her ass behind the scenes ahead of her title defense for the tag titles. And there's a vengeance plot you could go with, but yeah, it'd probably revisit an old iconic feud. No, we're not doing that. Okay, then what the hell was the point of her even being here besides basically being fridged? But that was going on. Kota Ibushi has spoke about a potential AEW signing, saying this: I want to share my knowledge with them as much as I can in AEW. The reason is to spread wrestling, to make it major. I will give my all to wrestling. Ibushi went on to talk about All In and discuss potential matches for the card. All In is taking in Wembley Stadium come August, right? Perhaps if I could face Chris Jericho or Hangman Page in a singles match, or with the Golden Elite. So, yeah, it does look like he's increasingly looking like he's gonna go All Elite soon. And then he did show up, he did return to the ring in GCW after over a year with the injury he had. And plus, everyone knows he's probably guaranteed to go AEW just to be with Kenny Omega. Then they can do an emotional anime-style reunion and be like, Kenny! Kota! The Golden Lovers have reunited! And then we get this Bobo anime stint where Kenny Omega just punches Kota in the face. And then we just go hijinks ensue. Oh, that was a good times. Plus, I don't think Chris Jericho wants to fight Kota, mostly because Kota is fetishes with his neck. Now, if you had him fight Bryan, that would be a different event. Mostly, we would have to get the triple X rated crowd reaction to this and laugh. Plus, didn't he also shove the glow sticks into his mouth while they were sparkling? Because he's insane. But I do know one thing he's not going to do. He's not going back to New Japan anytime soon because of all the drama that came out and accusations, and referencing mafia politics in New Japan and all that insanity. Y'all remember that? So, yeah, while New Japan had that little debacle go on and the near deaths that happened during that event, mostly Kota's mother, I hope things have recovered well for her. Mercedes Moné, after she had lost the women's title in IWGP at a Stardom event, Dave Meltzer decided to report that she has agreed to a contract extension, so she's sticking around a little bit longer, but we don't know how long yet. But Mercedes Moné decided to tease more about entrenching herself in stardom by forming her own faction with AEW talent, the Renegade Twins, who are Charlotte and Renegade. The Renegade Twins are an up-and-coming tag team who have already held the NWA World Women's Tag Team Championship, and sees a lot of potential with them to give the Twins a shout to her 2.5 million Twitter followers. But yeah, that's pretty damn awesome if they do that. I would be all for Mercedes like basking in the power and basking them with her star power to make them more rising talent. We'll see. They have been featured in AEW on shows as well, so maybe something can happen from this. We'll see. But there was something else that came out from Fightful Select today. Fightful Select reported that Mercedes Moné's management has stated that she has no more dates for Stardom, and she's said to be open to working with more Stardom dates, but there would have to be a bigger renegotiation as to the business she helped draw for them. Fightful was also told that the extension that was reported covers that the May 21st New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Resurgence show. New Japan Pro Wrestling sources weren't sure about the length of her deal, but they said that no matches are scheduled for her at least for a while after Resurgence. So, yeah. But it was also reported by Dave Meltzer that people backstage at Stardom were thrilled with Moné and how she conducted herself with everyone. The door does seem to be open for more Stardom appearances, but it looks like after May 21st, she could pop up anywhere if the price is right for her, because she needs that heavy amount of Moné and all that. So, yeah, Mercedes Moné looks to be temporarily done after May 21st, after Resurgence. We'll have to see where that goes. I'm hoping she sticks around. As much as I want to see her go All Elite eventually, I do feel like she's having a lot of fun in Japan. There are some people thinking that she might go as far as to become a Japanese citizen just to stick around there. I'm like, probably, we don't know. I don't know people's mental thoughts outside of my own house. And plus, I'm not Charles Xavier from the X-Men, because then Xavier would go crazy. But yeah, it's fun to speculate what Mercedes is going to do next. She was killing it in WWE, then Broken Promises happened. She made it at Mania, and the most thing I can say is that I feel sorry for Cora Jade, because reportedly, and this is, oh my god, this was so effing stupid when I heard this. So, apparently, according to a report that came out, GiveMeSport.com reported that Triple H is set to give Cora Jade a huge push, but here's the thing, it would be different if she was just a big push to, make a new star, and like, okay, that's fine. Apparently WWE management sees her as the, quote, next Sasha Banks.
I should be like you, Mel.
There are 100 problems with this. Well, for one, it would give, it's like, basically WWE walked up to Cora Jade and said, hey Cora Jade, Sasha Banks was a mainstream wrestling star for us, main event of WrestleMania, stole the show frequently, and even got a role in Star Wars as the Mandalorian. Think you could duplicate that success while being forever loyal to us? No pressure or anything. Can I just be Cora Jade? No. And a lot of people, and this follows up on an old article about a year back after Sasha left, where when Vince McMahon was running everything, which says a lot, WWE was under this dark twin delusion that they could just clone Sasha Banks because it's just that freaking easy. Like, the fact that was like they had the balls to think, okay, we could just clone a Sasha Banks, right? We could just make one in a lab, right? Like, okay, that's not what they really think. It's just that they think they could duplicate what made Sasha Banks special, because it's just that easy apparently to them. And not, it takes years to craft a star like that, and it gives too much unwanted pressure. Like, it just, and you know the tribalists are gonna freak out. And I saw WWE tribalists going ahead and said, I support, she is the next Sasha Banks. Heck, I'll go as far as say Tiffany Stratton is the next Charlotte Flair even. And I'm like, dude, how about they just be Cora Jade and Tiffany Stratton? Can't they just be that? Is that too much to ask? Yes, it is. Like, I had this conversation, and they said this: they can try all they want to clone her. It won't work, and it'll just be setting up those talents for a failure. Don't try and make someone the next Sasha Banks. Let them be their own unique person. Shrug. And yeah, I'm like, for all intents and purposes, like, not even The Rock and John Cena can say, we got in Star Wars. Well, The Rock could at least say, I was Black Adam and I brought Superman back. You lost your job after a month. I'm still Peacemaker, damn it. And, well, we can have Rock versus Cena as Black Adam versus Peacemaker. Okay, Black Adam would kick his ass, but that's a different matter. Man. But yeah, it just annoys me that WWE really are going to put that kind of pressure on Cora Jade because delusional fantasy. I don't know. I'm gonna go with probably copious amounts of Hydem. That, and they stole Matt Riddle's stash, but that's a different matter. But yeah, this was a fun talk. Good talk, everybody. I'll see y'all again next time. This is your host, Eric Brown of NRE The Wrestleverse, and this was the NRE Wrestlverse Podcast. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my other content in the description below on YouTube. Check out my other social media accounts. Soon I'm going to have this podcast eventually be on other platforms. We'll see. But for now, it's YouTube's exclusive for now. Peace out, take care, and I'll see y'all again next time. Peace.